everyone, welcome to the Jess at Spice Kitchen. Today we're making semolina for breakfast, which is a mixture of raisins and cashews with roasted rava. Roasted rava can be found at Indian grocery stores, another name for semolina also. And here we have some melted ghee that we're going to add to a medium-high flame. I'm using a wok here to melt the ghee, and then I'm going to be adding some olive oil to the mix as well. And that oil and that ghee is going to combine and melt, as you can see here. Now, semolina for breakfast is a very traditional South Indian breakfast item. We usually add cashews and raisins and some curry leaves in there, onions, ginger, and we roast it and we add water, and the semolina puffs up, and it's great with sliced bananas or eggs. So here we're adding some mustard seeds. Mustard seeds, when you add it to hot oil or hot butter, melted butter, it will pop. So I'm going to cover it with a lid and make sure that pops and it's completely popped, so that when you lift that lid, it might be some higher heat. You can lower the heat to medium if you'd like. Just don't want to burn those ingredients. So here we're adding some green chili, shallots, ginger chopped, and we're going to saute this with those mustard seeds until those onions are translucent. I have some curry leaves in there as well, and those curry leaves are going to add additional flavor to this whole dish. So here I am sauteing that, and you want to make sure the shallots are translucent and ready for the next step. Next, I'll be adding some cashews and golden raisins. I used about 1/4 cup of cashews and 1/4 cup of raisins, and it just adds a bit of texture difference, some sweetness, and some crunch with those cashews. It's a flavor element that we add to our dishes, like biryani and rice dishes, but here with the roasted semolina, we're trying to puff up that semolina so it becomes a little more fluffy, and we will be able to add these flavors in. So here I go, and I'm adding those cashews and raisins. We're trying to plump up those raisins, heat those cashews through so that golden color becomes more vibrant. So that'll take about a couple of minutes before that will be ready for the next ingredient to be added. Those shallots mixed in with the cashews and the golden raisins. We're going to plump up those raisins by continuing to stir them in and roast those cashews to a light golden brown color. The curry leaf smell in this dish is just so fragrant. I'm going to add a pinch of salt in here and mix that in. The salt, the quantity, you can add a pinch. I like to add a pinch and not too much, but salt is the taste. I like this to be sweet on the sweeter side, but it's a good balance between sweet and savory, and salt brings out the vibrancy of flavor in this dish. So let's add a pinch of that in there. And now we're going to add the roasted rava, or the semolina as we call it. The semolina is a really tiny grain. And we're just sauteing it. We don't need to roast this further. I'm just sauteing it to heat it through. But we're gonna add water. I used 1 cup of semolina or roasted rava. So you don't need to roast this further, literally for like 15 seconds at most. And now I'm adding a little bit of water slowly, a little bit at a time. So it's almost like making a risotto. You just add your water gradually, or in risotto's case, you add stock gradually. But in this case, I'm just adding water slowly so that the semolina can absorb some of that water slowly and it puffs up. Um, Once I see that the water is absorbed in the semolina, I add a little bit more. I think for 1 cup of semolina or roasted rava, I used about a cup to a cup and a quarter of water. And I didn't want this soupy, so I want to wait for that mixture to absorb the water as I stir as you go, and make sure that little bit of water is absorbed right there. As you can see, if there are some dry spots in the roasted rava or semolina, make sure you mix that in well and stop adding more water if you find that you've added a little too much. And you can always adjust the heat so that that water gets absorbed a little bit better. So here I've kind of spread out that semolina over the wok pan. This is why it's probably easier to use a wok, because you can spread it out into a thin layer, and that only because I want some crispy edges on the bottom of the semolina or upumav. And when your upumav is ready, semolina for breakfast, we just garnish it with some sliced bananas on the side, and we're just making it look pretty and appetizing to eat. I sprinkle some brown sugar and cane sugar, a combo, on top, lightly sprinkle. I don't make it too sweet because the bananas are sweet. And here I go, and I just sprinkle that, and that looks so pretty and just really scrumptious and savory as well as sweet. For recipes and more, please go to justaddspice.com, and ingredients and all the details for this recipe and other recipes, if you're interested in Southeast Asian cooking, will be found on the website. So like, share, and subscribe, and thank you for joining us today. I sincerely appreciate those of you who come back, and if you're new to this channel, thanks for joining us. Bye!